on 5.3 and we're talking about tan graphs. So tan graphs look different than sine and cos graphs, and they have some different properties that go with them. So before, when we said sine and cos had period lengths of 2 pi, the period length for tan is always pi. Okay, so it's not 2 pi, it would be pi over b, I guess, in this same situation. Okay, and when we talked about amplitude with sine and cos, it was the number that was in front, which was also like a vertical stretch. For amplitude for tan, there isn't ever any amplitude. So if I ever ask you what's the amplitude for tan, the answer would be undefined. Okay? So if I ever ask you what's the amplitude of this tan graph, you'd say undefined. Because there is no top and bottom. Once we look at the graph, you'll understand why. Okay? What else do we need to talk about? If we were talking about domain, it's going to be XER, but there's going to be spots where there's asymptotes, okay? And that's where the graph does not cross. So it's not going to cross, so it can't equal pi a half, and so on, like if you added a half pi every time. Okay? And then the range, since I said there's no height, top and bottom, then it's just YER. Okay? And I'll show you what a picture of a tan graph looks like. Okay, so say we have those 4 ticks again. Okay? So a tan graph, to graph y equals 10, draw one asymptote, draw the points where y is equal to -1, 0, and 1. Okay, so the important points on here are going to be at 1, and at -1, and then 0. Okay? So we said the period length for a tan graph is pi, b, right? So if we're talking about just as simple as we can get tan graph, there is no b. The b would be 1, so our period length is going to be pi. Okay? So our period length is pi. So that means this is 1/4 of a pi, 1/2 a pi, 3/4 of a pi, and pi. Right? Those are our 4 movements. And we're going to have asymptote halfway through our period length. Okay? Because if we thought about our sine and cos on our unit circle, does anybody have their unit circle handy? Looking at our unit circle, if you look at half on the unit circle, your cos is 0 and your sine is 1, right? And I always said that tan was the same thing as sine over cos. So right there, if I had sine over cos, I would have 1 over 0. And are you allowed to have that? No, it's undefined. So that's where that asymptote comes from. So you're always going to have, your picture is never going to cross there because it's undefined there. Okay? So what your picture looks like is it basically crosses